We are back. Cannot show evidence. Offensichtlicherweise. Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. What? You lie. Chief Gant, you opened my safe. I know you took what was inside. The conclusive evidence. I don't know what you're talking about, smartass. Mr. Wright, why don't you show them? We found it together. Oh, I see. It's because you know the truth, don't you? You know whose fingerprints are on it. That's why you won't present it. What are you talking about, Chief Gant? Moment. Okay, es fällt mir nämlich gerade noch was auf. Ja, definitiv. Wenn ihr euch mal die Chest anschaut oder die Weste anschaut. Wir sehen Blutflecken auf diesem Piece of Cloth, ja. Aber wenn wir uns dieses Stück hier anschauen, dann sehen wir, dass hier überhaupt kein Blutabdruck ist. Kleines Problem hier, Mr. Gant. What are you talking about, Chief Gant? Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this picture. See the victim's vest? Notice anything odd about the chest area? It looks part of it's been cut for some reason. You mean you had this in your safe? What? That means you, the chief of police, have been concealing evidence. This is going to be the biggest scandal in the history of the police department. Wobei er das jetzt logischerweise auch zugeben muss, ne? Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, Righto. Well, I can't just let you pin me up as the murderer. I'll tell you what really happened. What? You mean you admit to it? Who is in the shit now, huh? I was the first person to arrive at the crime scene that day. It then occurred to me that I could use the situation to control Lana. So you really were manipulating her. I knew Lana. If I made it look like the blame lay with her sister, that, when she saw the scene, she would ask me for my aid. So you assisted Miss Sky. I told her to arrange all the evidence. I had her plant the knife tip in the victim's body and move the body across the room. And I ended up using that evidence to get Joe Dark convicted. When I tampered with the crime scene, I hid 2 pieces of evidence. This was before Lana arrived at the scene, mind you. 2 pieces of evidence. You mean those items in your safe. But why? For insurance, of course. Insurance. I was sure my plan would work, but it's always best to be prepared for the worst. I wasn't about to let anyone blame me for a murder that girl committed. You mean you were calculating that far ahead while forging the evidence? What do you take me for, a fool? I didn't make police chief by dumb luck. See this jar fragment? Yeah. I hit the most legible part of Emma's name. I didn't expect Lana to go and wipe the blood off all the pieces. But if you fabricated all the evidence, what's to say you didn't fabricate the message on this jar too? Eben. Oh, some people just don't know when to quit, do they? That's why I kept 1 more item for insurance. You mean that piece of cloth? Come on, Righto. Cough it up already. I know you have it. What are you waiting for, Mr. Wright? So you admit to it then, Chief Gant. That you were hiding the cloth you cut off the victim's vest in your safe. Yes, I admit it. I didn't want to have to do that, being chief and all, but it's a lot better than being portrayed as a murderer. Nah, yeah. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say for yourself? Just a moment ago you said you didn't have any evidence you could present. Foolish move, Righto. You should have shown it then, before it was too late. It's been a long battle. But the moment of truth has finally arrived. As long as I don't mess up here, victory is mine. Yeah, good. Your Honor, I do have evidence to present now. Alright then, let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall. Hoffentlich haben wir es diesmal. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest. Oh yes! At last you finally brought it out onto the open. There's a handprint on the piece of cloth. Your Honor, The prosecution requests that be immediately sent to the lab for analysis. The sandprint on the leather. There must have been a strong impact for it to be left so clearly. I mean, it could not have been forged. It must be authentic, conclusive evidence. You're as slow on the uptake as ever, Worthy. What? Think about it. Wright had all this time to present the evidence. Yet he was reluctant to do so. Why would that be? You mean you already know? You know whose fingerprints are on that? You really know. Whoever the fingerprints belong to must be the real murderer. Whose fingerprints are they? Very well, I'll tell you. Should be okay now. Everything's proceeding as predicted. The person to whom these fingerprints belong to is... Boom. Emma. Emma Sky. What? They're mine? I'm sorry, Emma, but why? Why didn't you tell me? Alles gut. Alles gut. Alles gut. Wehe, das Game gibt uns keine Möglichkeit. You're really something, Rido. You know this girl did it all along, and you still tried to pin the murder on me. So it's true. Tragic, but true. This girl really did shove Prosecutor Marshall to his death. No. How could you? You monster. Miss Sky. You knew whose fingerprints those were all along, yet you acted like she really didn't. No. Miss Sky, it's not over yet. What? I said this trial isn't over yet. But I'm afraid it is over, boy. Not only this trial, but your career too. You purposely concealed this conclusive evidence. That, my friend, is a serious offense. Wir haben's gezeigt. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defendant is convicted. I'll have your badge, boy. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? Aren't you going to tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer? Before I do that, there's just one little thing I have to clear up. Oh, and what's that? Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall? What? Chief Gant, you are absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask? It was Emma Sky, wasn't it? I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction. What? A contradiction? What is this fool babbling about? I'm talking about a contradiction, one that proves who the real killer is. Ob ich so weit gehen würde, ich weiß nicht. Mr. Wright, this piece of cloth, what could it possibly contradict? Chief Gant, your tyrannical reign ends here. Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth. Boom. And what exactly is this supposed to be? This is the picture Miss Sky took. Take a good look at it. See where the piece of his vest was cut out? Yes. His shirt is showing underneath. It's hard to make out with all that blood on his vest, though. Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood. That's only natural. His lungs, no doubt, were punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth. Oh, but that piece of cloth... Wait. There's no blood on it. Ah. Since Emma Sky's fingerprints are on this cloth, there's no doubt that she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on the sword at that time. This is nonsense. Now then, Chief Gant, let me ask you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside. He most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out. If so, then tell me, who could it have been? Who could have arrived at the scene before Miss Lana Sky picked up the unconscious prosecutor and impaled him on the armor's sword? Then, to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, the person proceeded to write her name on the jar with the victim's blood, a jar that they then broke on purpose to leave behind a clue. And make Lana believe her sister did it. Remember what you admitted only a moment ago, that you personally cut out the bloodless piece of the victim's vest. Ironic, isn't it? Though the very act of creating insurance, you proved that you were the actual murderer. What you're saying now, Judge? It's finally all over. What you're saying now, Judge, huh? What? Hey. Oh! That was close, Rido. You almost had me. What? Sorry, but you'll have to do better than that. I refute your allegations. What do you mean you refute his allegations? You see, that piece of cloth is illegal evidence. What? Order. What nonsense is this? Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a suspect. Remember, Aji. Earlier, all Rido here concealed that piece of cloth. So then, what's your excuse, Rido? You do have some conclusive evidence, don't you? I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. Ja, zu dem Zeitpunkt nicht. Richtig. Well then, well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence. At that moment, that piece of cloth ceased to be legal evidence. But that's not fair. Did you actually think you could best me in court? It looks like the last laugh's on you, son. I'm afraid Mr. Gunn's claim is legally correct. Well, Mr. Edgeworth. True. Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a person, assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed illegal. Well, Mr. Wright. Was ist daran illegal? It seems at last the time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived. Mr. Wright, do you admit to it? That you purposely and illegally concealed this piece of cloth? Schon? No. If I admit to that, all my planning will have been for nothing. It seems... Oh, oops. Okay. So the evidence is illegal. Das meine ich ja eigentlich. No, it isn't, Mr. Gunt. Ha. It's not that I didn't present the evidence then, it's that I couldn't. What do you mean you couldn't? There are certain procedures involved when presenting evidence. No, Archie, don't listen to his lies. He's nothing but a coward. You can't really... There is only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence legal or not? Warum soll es illegal sein? Let us settle this once and for all. Earlier, you refuted to present evidence. If you can prove your conduct was not in violation of the law, then do so now. Oh, Moment. Rule number 1, würde ich sagen, ne? Rule number 1. This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law. What's this? I've done my homework too, Chief. Indeed, Emma Sky's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, at that point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth, nothing more. What? You see, it's written right here in this book, the second rule of evidence law. Rule number 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. I found this piece of evidence myself, inside your safe. It goes without saying, I did not have approval from the police department. Rule number 2, unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. And here is the crux of the matter. You see, at the time it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and the SL9 incident. What? What kind of nonsense is this? You want relevancy. Just take one look at this picture and... Sorry, but can you recall when was that picture presented? That was shown only a few moments ago. No. He's right. At the beginning of today's trial, that piece of cloth was still meaningless. The person who gave it value as evidence was you, Demon Gunt. You yourself confessed to a certain truth. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest. Oh yes. No. It was then that you approved this cloth as conclusive evidence. Yes, you, the chief of police, personally approved this cloth. The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest is the one who stood before Prosecutor Marshall in his final moments. In other words, the real murderer, and there's only one person who that could be. Demon Gunt, the killer was you. Okay. Okay. I knew I should have gotten rid of him. That good-for-nothing scum. For 2 years he's been snooping around the department trying to get something on me. Ah, also war er auf der guten Seite. Crimes are being committed every day, yet he insisted on hounding me. Well, your crime wasn't exactly petty. He wanted to reinvestigate the case. He recruited Angel Starr, then convinced Bruce Goodman. Detective Goodman. Yeah, that's right. If the evidence is transferred, I'll lose my only chance to find out the truth. Please, you've got to help me. Allerdings. Goodman turned him down, as he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit. He stole Goodman's ID card and tried to take the evidence. Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to file a lost item report. I went with him to the evidence room. Then all of a sudden he decided to speak out. What are you talking about, Goodman? Can you please reopen the investigation, Chief? We can't transfer the evidence out. There are too many questions left unanswered. He opened his evidence locker and as he was taking the evidence out, he said, "It's not too late. I'm going to hand all this over to Marshall." Well, to be honest, I was a bit taken aback by his words. I had a bad feeling when he came to see me, but I never thought he'd bring up SL9. That's when I saw it, the accursed knife. I couldn't just pull it out. Doing so would have only led to more blood, making it near impossible to hide your crime. Even so, the blood was just pouring out. I didn't know who might stumble in, so I hurried to wipe it up. I was worrying so much about the floor I didn't realize my fatal mistake. The bloody handprint. On Detective Gumshoe's locker. I used to be known as the crime computer. But everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. I had no business doing any of it. Then you put the body in my car. I'm sorry I couldn't think of any other way to move the body. I broke your trunk, but what's the big deal? You make a lot more than us detectives ever will. Leaving the prosecution's car aside, how? How could you get Miss Sky involved in all of this? Well, she had as much to lose as I did if the truth came out. So you took the evidence from Detective Goodman's locker. I felt bad for having to do it. I also didn't have the time to pick and choose what to take. So you left the jar fragments and the glove. Yeah. It looks like I was better off being an investigator of crimes than a committer. Yeah. Nice try. They all did their best to get in my way. I've got to hand it to them. They do their jobs well, much to my dismay. Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. You must have known that. Tell me, Worthy. Why do you stand in court? Me. You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me. We're the same. Sicher. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. Sicherlich. Ist klar. Well, looks like it's time to say goodbye. Oh, Aji. What? Looks like we'll have to cancel that lunch date. Sorry, old friend. Going to jail, bitch. I'm sorry too, Demon Guns. I knew you as you used to be long ago. You were once a fine investigator and an example to others on the force. I'm sorry to learn that you are no longer that person. Those days are gone now, Aji. Thanks for all the memories, though. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Now you have Rido here. And Worthy. With these two around, you can't go wrong. In fact, I can hear them already. The melodious sound of a new beginning. Ja, sicher. Von einem richtigen beginning. There are two things I want you to understand. Yes. First, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Demon Gun betrayed you from the beginning. You see, Miss Guy, you no longer have any reason to keep silent. You're right. When this trial is over, I'll tell everything. All that I've done these past 2 years. From the time I had Gun help me to forge evidence up until today. So, it seems all the questions raised in this trial have been answered. I'm sorry, Miss Sky. I couldn't get you out of all your trouble. My. What high standards you have for a rookie. Professional. Ace. I can see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows? A few years from now, you just might make it to the top. That was nice. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. Miss Sky. And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. 2-on-1, yeah. You suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. Believe me, I know how much of an ordeal it's been for you. It was nothing. Liar. I was worried the pressure might break you. And yet, you rose above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. You've done well, Mr. Edgeworth. Stop it, I only did my job. In light of this case, it seems a good examining is in order for all of us, Miss Sky. Yes, Your Honor. You are innocent of murder. However, although the chief blackmailed you, the fact that you still accepted as his accomplice, a trial will be scheduled for these crimes at a later date. Yes, I understand, Your Honor. Is there something amusing about all of this? Why are you smiling? It's been a long time, Your Honor. A long time since I felt free of these heavy chains. Verständlich. Well, this trial has gone on far too long already. Regarding the charge of murder, this court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky. Boom! Exactly. That is all. This court is adjourned. Okay. Hoffentlich kriegen wir den Rundown. February 25th, 5:30 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2. At long last, it's finally over. Emma. Why the long face? I'm sorry your sister didn't get completely off the hook, but at least she wasn't convicted for a murder she didn't commit. No, that's not it. Just now, after the trial ended. I can see why Mia Fey thought so highly of you. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. You've done well. You know, I did my best too. But Lana didn't say a single word to me. Oh, I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Wieder mal. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? Deja vu, I've been in this place before. You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Making a detective run around all while on duty. And to top it all off, you called me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Hey, lighten up, pals. I'm only kidding. Oh, are you here because of my sister again? Nope, not this time. I came today because of you, pal. Me? That's right. I thought you would like to see someone. Lana. Should you be doing this? She's still under arrest, you know. Well, I won't tell if you won't. Emma, I owe you an apology. It's okay, sis. Don't worry about it. That day, 2 years ago. Okay. Was the first time in my life I ever panicked. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming. All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in that mess. I asked Gunn to help me cover up the truth. I thought I was doing it for your sake, but now I realize that I was wrong. I changed after that day. Wie alle gesagt haben. I had to. It was the only way I could make it through the past 2 years. I knew how much I was hurting you by distancing myself, but I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scared. Scared that you'd look at me with those eyes of yours. I was scared of how you'd react if you knew. But since you were only doing it for me. No. Huh? I turned my back on you that day. In hiding what I believed to be the truth, I was deceiving you. Ah, yeah. Sis, I'm such a fool. It took me all this time to realize it. Emma, I'm sorry. But sis, you don't have to apologize. I'm happy now. You're happy. Of course. You know, sis, I always knew that one day you'd come back. And now you have. Super. No one can change the past. The only thing we can do is strive to make up for our mistakes. Why must we make up for our mistakes, you ask? Because in so doing, we can find the way back to our rightful path. And it is from there that we can move on toward a brighter future. At least, that's what I felt watching the two sisters make up. Mr. Wright, Mr. Gumshoe. Me. Thank you both for all that you've done. I'm sure we'll meet again someday. Isn't that right, Edgeworth? Edgeworth. Stop hiding and come over here. Wo denn? Hinterm Sofa? Where was he hiding? Oder hinter Detective Gumshoe? I just came to say congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Right. Well, I'll be going now. Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself for what happened. We were the ones who acted corruptly, not you. Stimmt, betrifft ihn ja auch. It's too late for me. No matter what anyone may say, I realized today that I can't correct my mistakes. Mr. Edgeworth. Not only that, but I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief Gaunt was right. You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me. We are the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. To go at it alone. Or to go alone, yeah. I do despise criminals. I plan to dedicate my entire life to fighting them. But in order to fight crime on my own, I'd need a weapon. It's scary, but I've known that to be true for quite some time now. But Edgeworth, who knows? Given enough time, I might have tried to pull something like Chief Gaunt did. That thought terrifies me. That's why I can't continue on as a prosecutor. Edgeworth, don't you understand? Damengant and your mentor Manfred von Karma, Manfred, were both the best of the best when it came to fighting crime. But they both made the same mistake. You said, in order to fight crime on my own, I'd need a weapon. That may be true. But think back to today's trial. You weren't alone. You were working together with Mr. Wright. And because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright? What? Yeah. What is this, a pop quiz? Come on, Mr. Wright, show him what Lana's talking about. Evidence, huh? Something that neither Edgeworth nor I would have been able to find on our own. That's the picture I drew. Our counter-attack began with this. You had one half of the evidence list and I had the other. Apart, we wouldn't have been able to completely restore Emma's picture. That didn't just happen by chance, Mr. Edgeworth. It's time for me to go. Mr. Edgeworth, if you'll excuse me, there are still some loose ends that need wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor. Edgeworth, what will you do now? Well, whatever you do, just remember. You can let what happened kill the prosecutor in you, or you can let it help you grow. In the end, it's up to you. I know. It seems I owe you my thanks too, right? But what I face now is my problem. Edgeworth, I'll be waiting for you in court. Farewell. Ich hatte schon gesagt, er kann nicht mehr weitermachen als Prosecutor, aber als Defense Attorney. Wie sein Vater. I better be going too. Okay, but I'll be by to visit soon. Seems we both have a lot to learn and catching up to do. Here, this is a little something for you. Scientific investigation. It's the first book I ever bought. Study it well. Thanks, sis. I will. Wunderbar. And so, another case came to a close. As for the sisters, I have faith. Definitiv. faith that their lives have only just begun. And as for me, I think it's time I started on a new journey of my own. A journey to rediscover myself. Well, don't go tracking off just yet, pal. Huh? What is it, detective? There's just a little matter to be resolved about the chief prosecutor. You see, she isn't supposed to be out of jail like this. But I thought you said it was okay. Yeah, well, it may be okay with me, but the folks at the prison are a different story. Huh? Basically, I had to bribe a guard in order to sneak her out for 30 minutes. Believe me, it wasn't cheap either. Way to go, detective. I didn't know you had a wild side. Yeah, well, you see. Mr. Wright here is the one who will be footing the bill. Natürlich. Huh? What, you think I could afford it with my salary? You gotta be kidding me, pal. Huh? Thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best. Why is it I suddenly feel like I want to scream? Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we go pay it off together? Yeah, that's a great idea. Come on, guys. Let's go. Okay, liebe Freunde, und das war's dann wohl vollends mit Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. I arranged for a friend of mine in Europe to take. I hope she'll be pleased to study under a top coroner. As for me, this affair has pretty much ended my days at the prosecutor's office. Still, I'll manage to find my way back to the field somehow. Then, I'll be able to investigate crimes together with Emma. Genau, dann kriegen wir wahrscheinlich noch so einen kleinen Epilog mehr oder weniger, was mit den Leuten danach passiert ist. Oder vielleicht auch nur, wobei, hatten wir ja schon mehr oder weniger nach dem vermeintlich letzten Case. Never mind. Yikes. I thought I was a goner for a moment there. In the end, though, they overlooked my unauthorized investigation of the chief's office. If we penalize you anymore, it'd be worse than firing you. Yep, that's what they said. Just goes to show, you can't shake me off that easily. Sehr gut, also er hat es weiterhin gemacht. Ansonsten hätte ich ihn auch gerne in unser Office aufgenommen. Er im zweiten Teil Justice for All, glaube ich. Weiß gar nicht, wie der zweite Teil heißt. Auf jeden Fall, der erste Teil eben Ace Attorney ist damit beendet. Danach haben wir 2 Teile noch. Ein Teil heißt Justice for All. Und der danach, weiß ich gar nicht. Aber ich habe ja die Trilogie auf Steam. Oh, sehr gut, Meekins. My new mission is to guard the main entrance and take care of Billy. You can't believe it? Can you believe it? I've been demoted to a security guard. My partner's keeping an eye on the entrance for me today. I'll show them though. Someday I'm going to make detective. Yes, sir. Then I can be just like that dick Gumshoe. Wenn das dein Vorbild ist, na dann gute Nacht, mein Freund. Aber bei Gumshoe ist auf jeden Fall großartig. Also ich habe kein Problem mit ihm, definitiv nicht. Gumshoe ist großartig. Hat uns auf jeden Fall bei den ganzen Cases geholfen. Mehr als die meisten anderen natürlich. Über die ganzen Trials verteilt, versteht sich. Das Ding vor allem, mein Gott, ey. Bin gespannt, ob es im zweiten Teil ebenfalls noch, okay, damit wäre das erledigt. Ob das im zweiten Teil dann ebenfalls noch das Maskottchen sein wird. Aber ich glaube, damit hat sich diese Frage auch schon erledigt. Wunderbar. Aber ja, im zweiten Teil habe ich ja schon erwähnt, übrigens während dem Playthrough hier. Im zweiten Teil, Phoenix Wright Nummer 2. What is it? Can't you see I'm having a showdown with a steak lunch, partner? Miss Starr managed to sneak this in for me. She's seeing one of the guards, it seems. Well, cowboy, it looks like you did it. You even gave Bambina back her smile. Can you make sure Billy and the gang get their water? Billy and the gang? What? Auf jeden Fall, wie ich schon erwähnt hatte, übrigens während dem Playthrough, werden wir im zweiten Teil von Phoenix Wright, logischerweise, mein Gott, looks like we won't be seeing each other for a while. As farewell gift, I put a new meal on the menu, the right way lunch. The top layer tastes as bitter as defeat, but the bottom layer is sweet as victory. Kids seem to dig the turnabout theme. It's a hot seller around exam time. Just make sure not to eat it backwards. Wie auch. Also zuerst süß und dann sauer, oder wie? Wieso? Haben wir schon mal jemals... Okay, wir haben zweimal verloren in diesem Playthrough, aber das ist... Fuck you. Brandon Gay. Just saying. I'll never forget what that young defense lawyer said after the trial. Let's see, what was his name again? Mr. Left? Anyway, he said he'd been doing something or for how many years? Well, anyway, I've got another trial to get to, so I'd better be... oh no, I forgot my gravel. Sorry, gotta go. Ja, kein Problem. Den Judge habe ich mittlerweile, kann ich absolut nicht mehr ausstehen, nachdem er sich da auf die Seite von Team und Gun noch geschlagen hat am Ende. Aber wir werden, um den Satz zu vervollständigen, im zweiten Teil von Phoenix Wright, im zweiten Game, werde ich jemanden mit an meine Seite holen, der dann hoffentlich ein bisschen mehr drauf hat als ich, wobei wir eigentlich ganz gut durchgekommen sind. Wie gesagt, wir haben nur zweimal overall ein Guilty Verdict bekommen, was quasi ein Game Over war. Oh, Maya. Nothing soothes the soul like fresh country air. Yeehaw. Still, sometimes I do miss hearing you and your objections. Still, I can't go back until I'm a full-fledged spirit medium. Mystic Maya, afternoon training's about to begin. Coming. Well, see you around, Nick. Das hoffen wir doch. Spätestens im zweiten Teil. Wird interessant zu sehen sein. Ich hoffe mal auf jeden Fall, Gumshoe muss mit dabei sein, Edgeworth auf jeden Fall auch und Maya sowieso. Die drei auf jeden Fall. Ich denke mal, Emma und Lana werden dann wahrscheinlich zu dem letzten Case jetzt eben nur relevant sein. Oh, natürlich Larry Butts. Larry Butts natürlich auch. Mal gucken, vielleicht haben wir ja Emma oder vielleicht sogar Lana auch noch im zweiten Teil. Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth. I brought you your tea. Wieso ist er überhaupt da? What's going on? Hat er doch abgedankt? Wäre schade. Weil so gesehen kann ihm eigentlich gar nichts mehr passieren jetzt, da Demon Gun eben unter Schloss und Riegel ist. Thanks for coming to see me off. I can't believe I'm going to Europe. Dachte ich mir schon. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thank you so much for everything. I'm a little sad, but I'll be alright. Whenever I want to see Lana, all I have to do is open this book. Alright. Oh. Dürfen wir mal reinschauen. Oh, einen da. Ah, okay. Bekommen wir nochmal das Bild gezeigt. Sehr gut. Okay. Achievement unlocked, Rise from the Ashes. Frage ist nur, ob es das jetzt wirklich war. Und wieder mal Capcom übrigens. Ich liebe euch, Jungs. Resident Evil 2 Remake, Resident Evil 3 Remake. Phoenix Wright, ihr Jungs habt's verdammt nochmal drauf. So. Schauen wir mal. Genau. Continue wäre dann eben vom letzten Save. Das heißt, meine lieben Freunde, da haben wir es. Justice for All und dann Trials and Tribulations. Also das Game kam 2001 raus. Ace Attorney. 2002, ein Jahr später, Justice for All. Und 2004, 2 Jahre später, haben wir Trials and Tribulations. Hätten sich ein bisschen mehr Mühe geben können, allerdings, was das Logo angeht, weil das sieht relativ... Das ist genau dasselbe. Habe ich übrigens die ganze Zeit... Ne, okay. Dachte gerade schon, ich habe den Sound irgendwie komplett runtergedreht gehabt. Das wäre natürlich wieder mal... Das hätte noch gefehlt. Aber ja, meine lieben Freunde, das war's für Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Das komplette Playthrough. Den Kauf habe ich definitiv nicht bereut. Ich habe, glaube ich, zu Beginn auch erwähnt, wie viel das Game letzten Endes auf Steam kostet. Und es ist den Preis auf jeden Fall wert. Nicht nur habe ich jetzt ungefähr 20 Stunden, glaube ich, nur in den ersten Teil Ace Attorney reingesteckt, sondern wir haben eben auch noch Justice for All und wir haben Trials and Tribulations. Hätte das ganze EA rausgebracht, hätten wir das als DLC kaufen müssen und dann die einzelnen Episoden wahrscheinlich auch noch. Was allerdings hier logischerweise in dem Remake nicht der Fall ist. Wir haben alle 3 Games direkt, die wir hier angehen können. Und als nächstes, ich glaube, nee, nicht freitags, montags ist ja der Zeit für Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney gewesen. Justice for All. Nee, Moment, Quatsch. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, boom. Und, Moment. Ah, okay, okay, ein bisschen was wurde hier geändert. Jetzt ist es mittlerweile Phoenix Wright und anstatt Phoenix Wright steht hier Ace Attorney. Also, okay. Hat einen kleinen Unterschied. Aber ja, jeden Montag war ja Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Zeit. Jetzt allerdings wird es demnächst... Vielleicht machen wir 1-2 Wochen Pause, das werden wir sehen. Aber dann geht es weiter mit Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Justice for All jeden Montag, logischerweise auf meinem Channel. Ich hoffe mal, es ist genauso aufgebaut wie Ace Attorney, dass wir eben immer genau dann den Cut machen können, wenn To Be Continued kommt, weil das auf jeden Fall mittlerweile, finde ich zumindest, der beste Cliffhanger ist. In diesem Kontext hoffe ich allerdings, dass euch der Playthrough von Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney gefallen hat und dann sehen wir uns demnächst, wenn es weitergeht mit Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Justice for All. Bis dahin tut nicht, was ich nicht auch tun würde und natürlich, Court is now adjourned.